My mom, 39F, broke down during family therapy with me, 18F, and now she's angry because her tears didn't change my mind. My relationship with my mom has been difficult ever since she and my dad, 38M, divorced when I was 8. Almost immediately after telling me about the divorce, my mom moved to another part of town. I hated that she wanted me to stay with a babysitter after school when I could have been at my dad's house. She said she didn't want to communicate with my father every single day. A few months later, she started dating a man named Andrew, 45M, who eventually became her husband. Neither of us handled the situation well. I cried and threw tantrums because I wanted my parents to get back together. Meanwhile, my mom constantly tried to bring Andrew into my life. She wanted me to see him as almost a second father, encouraged him to pick me up from school, and kept trying to arrange one-on-one activities with him, even though not much time had passed since the divorce. As soon as the divorce became official, Andrew moved in with us. My mom would get irritated whenever I called my dad during her parenting time. She kept asking why I couldn't just talk to Andrew instead, and it almost always turned into an argument. When my mom married Andrew, she wanted me to have a special role in the ceremony and become his little girl, too. I refused. She told me I was going to do it whether I wanted to or not. I told her that if she forced me, I would ruin the wedding. Sometime after my mom remarried, my dad briefly started seeing another woman. When he noticed that I was struggling with it, he ended the relationship and decided not to rush into dating again. My mom reacted strangely to the idea that my dad might move on. One day, I told her that if she had replaced Dad, then maybe he had every right to replace her too. She replied that Andrew was much better than my father and couldn't understand why I refused to let him into my life. I told her I didn't need him and would never see him as another dad. These arguments continued for years. At one point, I even told her that I wished my dad would find a wife and that she could become my second mom, because then everything would be fair. My mom was deeply hurt by that comment. A few months later, at my request, my dad went to court so I could primarily live with him. The judge considered my wishes and agreed. After that, I only saw my mom for a few hours twice a month and no longer stayed overnight at her house. A few times she brought Andrew with her, and I simply turned around and left. Eventually, we went almost an entire year without speaking. My mom kept calling and trying to restart our visits, but I didn't want to anymore. She finally realized I was serious when I celebrated my 18th birthday without her. That's when she suggested family therapy, and I agreed. During the first sessions, we mostly explained our perspectives and talked about the past. But at our most recent session, my mom once again brought up the idea that I should see Andrew as more than just her husband. She broke down crying and said that before Andrew, she had only ever been with my dad. She didn't want to spend her entire life knowing only one person, but she also didn't want to lose her family. That's why she desperately wanted Andrew to become another father to me and for us to finally feel like a complete family. When I didn't respond, she cried even harder. She kept saying that all she ever wanted was a normal family, just not with my father anymore, and that it hurt her to see my dad able to move on and build relationships while I supposedly wouldn't allow her to be fully happy in her marriage. I asked her whether she would be okay if I started calling my dad's future wife Mom and treated her like my other mother. My mom instantly stopped crying, stood up, and walked out of the session without even listening to the therapist. Now she's angry and keeps asking how I could sit there, watch her cry, listen to her pour her heart out, and still refuse to give her what she wants. And now I'm questioning our relationship all over again. During that year of no contact, I was honestly happier than I had been while trying to maintain even a small relationship with her. She's my only mother, and despite the question I asked in therapy, I know I could never truly see another woman as my mom, just like I could never see another man as my dad. If I were in her position, what would hurt me the most wouldn't be my parents' divorce, but the fact that my mom spent years ignoring my feelings and trying to force another parental figure into my life. You can't make a child love someone or see them as a parent just because that's what you want. And tears shouldn't be used as a way to get the reaction you're hoping for. Now, let's hear what other users have to say about this situation. That's right out of the narcissist's playbook. You handled it correctly. If the therapist did not point this out, then You need a better therapist. I don't think I would continue this kind of therapy with your mom. She needs to figure her stuff out first. Then, she can work on repairing any relationship with you. The therapist did tell me my mom was wrong and manipulative for doing that, but she did not say narcissist. She also apologized for not being able to stop mom. I know she tried, but nobody was stopping mom. She was determined to say what she did. Parents have a way of thinking that their kid owes them something. Your mom made her choices, and now she sees you weren't just a bratty little girl, for lack of a better phrase, and what she did and is doing is intentional and manipulative. The fact that she walked out when you hit her back with the same scenario threw her for a loop. Good for you. You get to control who has access to you and your life. She cares more about herself than you. Time to go and see. Luckily, you have a good dad. Live your life. Your mom has no legal right to be in your life anymore. I'm so sorry. OP. Family's challenging when fragmented like that. It sounds like mom married young and has unresolved mental health conditions she isn't managing well. It's tough to have family go through those, but you do have your whole life ahead of you and can choose more healthy relationships and make better boundaries moving forward. Right? Those concerns you brought up to your mom are very real, legitimate questions, but she doesn't sound very mature in her responses, and I'm very sorry. Her manipulative behaviors are inflicting pain and damage on the relationship. Maybe she'll realize her natural consequences when it's not too late. But take care of yourself and try your best to build a healthy support network despite it all. It's been about 3 weeks since that family therapy session. Honestly, I expected my mom to keep calling, send long messages, or try to convince me that I had been cruel. Instead, the opposite happened. For the first few days after therapy, I didn't hear from her at all. Then she sent me a short message saying that she needed some time to think about everything and that she wasn't ready to talk yet. I replied that I understood and that I also thought we needed a break. During this time, I've been thinking a lot about our relationship. In the past, I constantly felt guilty. It always seemed like I was a bad daughter because I couldn't give my mom what she wanted. But after our last therapy session, I seriously started considering the idea that my feelings matter too. I realized that for years, our conversations always ended up revolving around the same thing. My mom wanted me to accept her husband as another parent, and I kept trying to explain that it simply wasn't possible. She saw my refusal as a rejection of her happiness, even though I never said she didn't have the right to remarry or build a new family. During this break, I also talked to my dad. I didn't go into every detail about therapy, but I told him what had happened. He listened and then said something I've been thinking about ever since. He told me that no child should feel responsible for their parents' emotional well-being. According to him, parents can have expectations, but they shouldn't demand specific feelings from their children. Those words really stuck with me because I realized how much responsibility I had been carrying for my mom's emotions. If she cried, I felt guilty. If she was angry, I felt guilty too. If she said I wasn't letting her be happy, I started questioning myself. But now I'm beginning to understand that I can't control someone else's feelings, and I shouldn't force myself to feel something that simply isn't there. A few days ago, my mom sent me another message. It was short. She said that the therapist had asked her to think about whether she had tried to accept my feelings as much as she wanted me to accept hers. Then she said that she didn't know the answer to that question. I don't know what happens next either. I don't know if our relationship will ever become close. I don't know whether we'll continue therapy. But for the first time in a very long time, I don't feel guilty for being honest. And maybe that's already a small step forward.